Nervos Network, CKB, still set to do 500% from today's price. It is following textbook Elliott Wave and Fibonacci. So we're going to do a technical update, but it doesn't only apply to CKB, it applies to all crypto. So you're going to learn how to read the markets like a pro. So if you like today's content, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. If you don't know me by now, my name is Jiggy. I'm the award-winning author of The Extraordinary New Venture Capital Opportunity, How to Invest Like a Pro. Been featured in the best-selling book, High Probability Trading Strategies, back in 2008, where I used to focus only on currencies, but now exclusive on cryptocurrency. So let's dive straight in. Now, very quickly, we're going to go over the theory first. The theory of Elliott Wave and Fibonacci. If you've seen my videos before, you know I'm a big fan of reading the market psychology. And typically, markets move in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of a wave 1, and then typically A, B, C correction of a wave 2. Now, with Nervos Network, it actually did something called a complex correction, where it was more of an A, B, C, D, E going on the downside. We're going to review on that. But then typically what happens next is a very bullish movement to the upside. Now, I want to just draw an annotation on this so you can kind of see it in two ways. We're expecting this movement to the upside with a lot of cryptocurrencies, CKB being one of those. And then let me just get rid of this now. Let me get rid of you. Let me get rid of you. Here we go. There we go. Back. So then next up, what do we expect? Well, I believe Nervos Network is coming up to this phase of its market. Now, when you get a wave 3, it typically breaks down into a further 5-wave sequence. So what I believe, and we're gonna go into our live chart in a second, is that we're around coming towards this zone, right? And I know it's not comfortable seeing these big retracements to the downside, but after a big retracement, we tend to get what's called a wave 3 of a wave 3. And when it comes to the theory, it looks like this. Wave 3, then a wave 4, and then a wave 5 of a wave 3. That's what we're anticipating with a lot of crypto, CKB being one of them. So what we're going to do now is dive into a live chart. But before we do, let's do a quick review. So let's get out of this. Let's go into here. So I do a lot of videos, right? And I'm always looking at what do you like the best. So one of my most popular videos is launchpads. Our launchpad is the easiest way to make 1000x. We did a great one on safe launch. We did a 1000x on Meta VPad, which did 1000x. It did a 1200x, just over 1000x. But my fourth most popular video is CKB, done on August 9th. We got over 11,500 views. So that was why I decided today, actually, let's do an update on CKB, because I don't think many people cover the technicals on CKB. So one of the things that we did on August 9th and what we said, and this is important, because what I've realized is that most people, especially if you're new to crypto or new to trading, don't realize the power of Elliott Wave and Fibonacci. The markets just represent these cycles again and again. And if you want to learn how to do this, I've got a free Elliott Wave and Fibonacci masterclass, which really breaks it down so you can kind of start to see this buying and selling behavior, so you don't have to panic too much when you see these big drawdowns happening, because it's normal psychological behavior. So we said Nervos Network set to do another 700% return. And what we said here, this is important because I want to really kind of break this down, is we said after a wave 1, and we said an A, B, C, D, E of a wave 2, that's what we said in this last video on August 9th, is we anticipate this wave 3 to happen. But it's not going to move up in a straight line. It tends to move in this 5-wave sequence over here, right? That's what we expect. And then a pullback, and then a continuation to the upside. That's really, really important, because what we want to reiterate is the theory. So we got the theory, right? This is what we're looking at. And we're saying we're down here on this wave 2 of a wave 3. And then we're going to look at the practical, like the real life stuff. Then we did another update on Nervos Network on November 19th, because it was panning out, right? We had this initial movement to the upside. And again, I just want to emphasize this because it's important. You know, we had the initial wave 1, wave 2. It looked like a wave 3 over here, but we're going to do an update on what it looks like now based on the more recent information. And then, so let's just quickly jump into CoinGecko. CoinGecko, today's price of Nervos Network is 2 cents per token. It's currently ranked at 154 in terms of market cap. The market cap is just under 600 million. Its all-time high is 4 cents, so 2x from today's price. But we're going to look at, is it likely to reach 10 cents in the very near future? What's the time frames? And let's just break down the technicals. So what I've done here is I'm using TradingView, and where I've just taken the data back to August 9th. Taking the data back. Why? Because this is when we did that first video, which was this one. And what we said was we were planning for this wave 2 low, and it's panned out quite nicely. It's panned out quite nicely. So let's just update the data. It moved in this initial 5-wave sequence to do this initial wave 1 of a wave 3. That's what it looks like. And then it moved to the downside. Nice ABC of a wave 2 of a wave 3. And then at this stage, we weren't sure if this was looking more like a completion of a wave 3, or if this was a part of a wave 3 bigger structure. But now we've got more information. I got a very precise update for you guys, especially if you're holding a lot of Nervos Network. So you don't need to get nervous about holding a lot of Nervos Network. It's power. Well, I'm basing today on technicals, right? We know it's a blockchain, does APIs and everything else. There's got a big community, but we're going to focus really on technicals and psychology of buying and selling. We can actually ignore the fundamentals when it comes to purely psychological buying and selling behavior. So I'm just going to update the data. So we've got this new high. We was anticipating this. And what we said at the time of the video was it was going to do one of two things. It was going to potentially go higher, or it was going to make a bigger correction. So taking it to today's price now, this is where we are today. This is where we are today. So now I'm just going to delete these two numbers because I want to do it a bit cleaner. What I believe what we're seeing now with Nervos Network is the following. You want to remember as well, the wave count, there's waves within waves. And we're going to keep it very, very simple today. So this looks like a wave 1, a wave 2. Actually, this here looks like the wave 3, a nice ABC correction of a wave 4, and then a little spike up of a wave 5. Right? And I'm gonna break this down for us in just a second. But I want to draw it like this. We're going to do an intermediate wave count. Bang. But this hasn't taken out the previous all-time high, right? So that's clear, right? So that's clear. So what does that mean? What's the likelihood of this buying and selling behavior? Well, what it means is this movement to the upside actually looks like a wave 1 of a wave 3. Go, what you get? Yeah, it's a wave 1 of a wave 3, right? It's going to be valuable because we're going to break it down. A wave 1. Let's just change it to 28, and let's just change it to orange. A wave 1 of a wave 3, right? So when we're looking at the theory, we're talking about this little move here, this move here, this wave 1 of a wave 3, right? That's what we're looking at. And we believe, well, this is just what my take is on this behavior, is now we're forming a wave 2 of a wave 3. And then what comes up next, again, we're not, I don't think we've quite completed this yet. So we're going to go into that in a second. But then what comes next is what's normally one of the most impulsive bullish waves, is a wave 3 of a wave 3, right? Hopefully that makes some sense. Now, again, if you want to learn more about this, if you're new to this, I've got a masterclass in the description in the link below. So now what we're going to look at is where is it likely to go? But before I do, because I want to jump to the end and then jump back here. When I say jump to the end, is we had this from November 2020, a movement to the upside, which we're calling a wave 1 and a wave 2. What typically happens after a wave 2 like this, where we're expecting a big wave 3, right? So we measure this wave 1, project it forward from down here, and click on this. And I think I've done this earlier on. Here's the two major price targets. The two ratios for this are 1.618 and 2.618. So at the beginning of the video, I said, 500%, which is a 5x. What was I basing that on? It's really this 11 cent mark, right? 11 cent mark. So today's price is around 2 cents or just over 2 cents. And we're expecting a bit more downside movement. But if it hits this overextended wave 3 target, which is likely, at least this one here, which is around 7 cents, which is around 3.5x from where we are today, or this higher movement, especially if it aligns with Bitcoin's current correction. And if we do end up seeing a 6-figure Bitcoin, we're probably going to see a 10 cent plus Nervos Network, CKB, right? So that's where we're getting that number 5x from, 500%. But we're not in the range where it's looking to go up, it's looking to go down before it goes up. And here's why, right? This is just, again, pure technicals. We're just going to stick on the daily chart, and we're just going to focus on this part of the market, this part over here, right? So now we've got this 5-wave sequence, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a wave 1, and then we are anticipating a wave 2, right? We've got, this looks like a clean wave A, and we're going to anticipate and we're going to project forward what we anticipate the target to be for the wave 2, right? That's what we're going to look at. So there's a few key factors that we want to look at. First of all is price. There's a really powerful tool called Fibonacci retracements. What we do is we hit this low, as in we're taking this low down here, this wave 2 low, which is the beginning of the wave structure. I'm just going to make sure I get the right point. Bang. And we're going to take this high, right? So typically markets retrace back for a wave 2. Wave 2s are quite a deep correction, big profit taking wave. This here, typical minimum is 50%, and we've tagged that, right? But this doesn't look like a 3-wave sequence, right? So it doesn't look like the wave 2 is complete, even though it's tagged this price zone. The other thing I like to do is Fibonacci time, right? So we're going to take this beginning of this wave structure and the end of this wave structure here. And the typical, most common price zone is how long it takes to form an ABC structure. Most minimum is 38, but more common is this 50% to 100%, which is just off the screen. So now we've got this range, right? It's quite a broad range, but we've got this range in terms of time. And because the minimum of this date over here, this date line here, of the 20th of January, the price hasn't reached that date yet, it doesn't look like the correction is complete. The thing that will tell us that the correction is complete is if the price goes above this point here, right? So we're looking for sideways to down before, from a technical standpoint. The other question I have for myself is, does this look like a wave B, right? A wave B before we get a potential wave C to the downside? I'm not going to get too much into that, because what we're going to wait for next is a movement below this point, right? So what we're calling this, how I'm seeing it, is a wave A, some type of wave B, and then we're expecting some type of wave C, and then a continuation to the upside, So what I'm going to do today, we don't need to speculate too much, but if the price, let me just zoom in here. And this is more just so you can anticipate what's likely to occur. Again, we can only do probabilities and never certainties. But if the price breaks below this line down here, which is this previous low, that will confirm this as the wave B high. So we haven't had that confirmation yet. It looks likely, but it hasn't, because there's a potential that this could be an A, B. If I can get this, come on. Okay. There we go, boom. And it could be like this before we get it, right? So there's a couple of things that we just want to take into account. Actually, let me just do this for the sake of it. I'm just going to do a very quick, because I know some of you, it's not comfortable holding this. Let's just do the same thing on the upside, which is we're just going to do a retracement from this high to this low. Come on. Let me do it from here. I just want to get this data here for you. All right, taking this here to here. It's been a bit glitchy today. All right, here we go. Bang. All right, so this wave B, it hasn't quite hit the 50% price. Price hit that zone. Yeah, I just want to look at the time, just to see if it's a likely wave B. Yeah, it's likely that this is the wave B. Yeah, from a time perspective, sorry, I was just doing that for my own reference. It does look like this is a wave B, a highly probable wave B. So we can kind of say that here. What will confirm it is the price going below this point down here, but it looks very, very likely. And then what we can do is we can also do a wave A and a wave C have a direct relationship. Right, what are you going on about? What are you going on about, mate? All right, well, this is a wave A, and it has a direct relationship with this wave C, right? And they often mimic each other. There's a particular ratio. And what we want to do is we want to just quickly measure this wave A and project it forward from this wave B. And there's a couple of ratios that we want. The main one is 100%, and the other one is 62%. So we've got these two ranges. I also like to use candlesticks when we're going into a bit more of the intermediate micro counts. Yeah, that's fine. I'm going to keep on the line chart. Yeah, just wanted to see if there was any particular spikes. So now we've got these two zones. So now rather than having this one big box on the pink zone, what we do is we actually go, this down here is going to be one zone. And then the other one is, if I can grab it, yes, there we go, it's down here. Now, we don't know at this point which one's going to be highly likely, but as the market unfolds, what typically will occur is that this will break down into a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave structure. So whether it's going to be here or whether it's going to be here. And then we can just look at the momentum, right? So here's the momentum indicator. I reckon what we're going to get is, over the next few days, a bullish reversal, the next bearish reversal, and then on the following bullish momentum reversal, where the blue line goes over the red, is probably going to coincide with the end of wave C, of a wave 2, of a wave 3. All right, let's wrap this up. We've got quite a bit technical there, right? But sometimes it's good to see the method behind the madness. Is what we're going to anticipate is this, and what we're going to do is down here, we're looking for a wave 2. And then if it does unfold like this, and it is if, because there's no guarantees in this game, it doesn't matter what you're investing in, whether it's crypto or other markets, there's no guarantees. But this is highly probable, right? Because what we did here, I'm going to just remind you, because this is powerful stuff, is on the August 19th, when the price was 1 cent, we anticipated ahead of time, based on technical chart patterns, which is buying and selling behavior, that we're going to get this upside movement right over here, right? That's what we anticipated ahead of time. And then what happened was it did go from just under 1 cent to around 3 cents. So it was around almost a 4x. So that was this good, healthy movement to the upside, especially for a Bitcoin that's in the top 200 cryptocurrencies. But now what we're looking for is a nice A, B, and the AB looks like it's formed. And then we're going to be patient for a minimum of 3 legs. It's probably going to be down here, but it could be up here as well. We'll just wait. And then again, aligning with the momentum indicator, these lows and the highs are marrying up relatively nicely. And then when we get the next bullish reversal, so it's going to be this one, down and then up again, more than likely that's going to coincide with this low. And that's going to be the time, either if you're buying for the first time or if you're waiting patiently for down here, is when we anticipate a nice bullish movement to the upside, where we'll get an initial movement. I'm just going to measure this for you. Here to here to here. The initial movement, because the market's always moving in waves and sequences. We should break the previous all-time high and at least get to around 5 to 7 cents, 5 to 7 cents, give or take. Then a bit of a correction, and then another leg to the upside. Hopefully that made sense. Today's video is really technical, but I tried to simplify it for you just to go, look, CKB, I know there's not a lot of people doing technicals on it, but my last August 9th video anyway, got 11,000 views, so I thought I'd do an update. We pegged it to the low, like we got it bang on, and it moved as anticipated. It's a strong project in terms of volume and everything else, but right now, the whole market, the whole of crypto is going for a big correction. There's no CKB is no exception in this case. We're expecting one last leg down to the downside, so don't be overly surprised. It's not a reflection of the project. Often price is not a reflection of the project, because fundamentally projects are improving. There's better code, there's more customers, there's more wallets, there's more APIs, there's more this, that, and the other. However, price is moving down, and short-term price moving down is just short-term voting based on fear and greed, and is more often than not the whole market sentiment and just profit taking. And then we'll anticipate the next leg to the upside. And then if it does unfold like this, just be prepared for a nice bullish movement, and then you can just plan your particular investment strategy, your exit strategies, becoming risk-free, and so on and so forth. So there you have it. CKB, if you'd like to learn how to do Elliott Wave and Fibonacci in that level of detail, I've got a free Elliott Wave and Fibonacci masterclass, and I'll break it down to layman's terms. I know we covered a lot today, and I try to keep it simple as I can so you can see this market behavior happening time and time again. So if you like today's video, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and let's finish on a quote. Today's quote is all about training, right? Training, doing the hard work. So when others are just staying kind of, because we got to remember, right? Any market is a zero-sum game, meaning there's winners and there's losers. Some make profit, some make losses. But for some to make profit, someone has to make a loss. So it's like a sport, like it's a football game or it's a tennis game. And someone has to win, someone has to lose. So you doing the training puts the edge in your favor that you're going to be on the winning side. So you're buying at the lowest possible point and selling at the highest possible point and becoming risk-free. So this quote is really, really relevant. And it's from Henry Ford. It says, "It has been my observation that most people get ahead during the time that others waste." So when the market has been dipping, and we pegged the top of Bitcoin when it hit 67,000, pretty much bang on. A lot of people have just been panicking, waiting, praying, like please let the markets pick up and everything else. And others have been training to kind of go, right, let me understand these ABC corrections a bit better. Let me understand these retracements and profit-taking behavior a bit better. If you're doing IDOs, understanding vesting schedules, understanding how the markets work, how they operate, how the token price of the membership goes up and down, how the project itself is going to go up and down, how market sentiment, whether you're using stock to flow, whether you're using Newport, whether you're using Elliott Wave and Fibonacci, or even just plain wallets, how many wallets are being opened, that's given us valuable information on how the markets are likely to respond next. So again, Henry Ford, it has been my observation that most people get ahead during the time that others waste. It's about getting ahead, and I wouldn't even focus just on this current bull market, even though that's what's happening right now. I would focus on the next two also. 2024, 2025, it's going to be more than likely the next bull market because it tends to marry up with Bitcoin halving. And then the next one afterwards, 2029, 2029, 2030. The next bull cycle. And this new technology called blockchain, which is decreasing the cost of trust by up to 10,000 times, is here to stay. And it's going to revolutionize pretty much all contracts. If you've got a physical contract, whether it's your mortgage, whether it's your insurance, whether it's your employment contract, all these contracts are going to move over to the blockchain over the next 5 years, 10 years, and people are finding new and innovative ways of doing what already exists, but better on the blockchain. There's the metaverse space, which is now, taking a whole new world, because we've moved from communication from text to images to video conferences. So we were used to doing 2D, and now 3D gaming has been around for a while, but it's moving to a whole new level of social interaction with VR and AR and NFTs and play to earn. So this is the time to just keep learning, because even during this bull market and then the bear market and then the next bull market, the technology stack is just getting better and better and better. Faster to transact, cheaper, safer, more secure, better user interfaces, better user experience, and so on and so forth. So today's video was on the technicals, but it's also just to remember that most people get ahead whilst others are wasting time. And it's your job to keep getting ahead. So like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. I appreciate you, and I'll see you soon.